Mr. and Mrs. Bami lived in a village situated upon a hill called Uka. Uka was a small but very peaceful village. The people were hardworking and lived in harmony. Bami and his wife Bimbo were weavers. They were very good with their craft and were known in the village. They had a son named Tobi. Toby was the only child of the couples. He was showered with love by his parents and everyone in the community. He was an obedient and a very sweet child. He was kind to everyone, including animals, hence why his father got him a dog, Pepe. Pepe was always by Toby's side. They went hunting, chasing insects together. Toby was a fun-filled boy who loved chasing grasshoppers, climbing mango trees, and helping his mother fetch water from the stream. Every evening after supper, Toby would sit by the fireside with his father, listening to the stories he had to tell him. This was their special bonding time. Toby was sometimes lonely as the only child, so he was excited when his mother told him that Uncle Dele was coming from the city. Uncle Dele was Toby's father's cousin, and he hadn't visited the village in a long time. When Uncle Dele arrived, the whole village was excited. They admired his shiny clothes, fine shoes, and the motorcycle he rode in. He brought with him bags of biscuits, shiny toys, and other things Toby had not seen before. Toby sat close to him, eager to hear about the tall buildings and busy markets in the city. "You are a sharp boy, Toby," Uncle Dele said one evening, ruffling his hair. "You remind me of myself at your age." Ma Toby was delighted. "It's good for Toby to have someone from the city to look up to," she told Papa Toby. Uncle Dele quickly blended in. He was charming, always ready to help with chores. However, one evening he called Toby to his room. "Toby, come here," he said, holding a shiny toy car in his hand. "This is for you." Toby's eyes lit up as he reached for the toy. He was fascinated. He had never seen anything like that before. "Thank you, Uncle," he exclaimed in joy. But as Toby reached out, Uncle Dele held his hand and grabbed him to sit on his laps. "You're my special boy, Toby. I have lots of toys to give you, as long as you always come here to play with me. And remember, this is our own little secret. You must not tell anyone, not even Mama or Papa," he said with a smirk on his face. Toby felt uneasy and began to sweat uncontrollably. That night, Toby couldn't sleep. He stared at the roof, wondering if he should tell his parents or not. The next day, Toby went to fetch firewood for his mom at the farm. He met with his best friend Akin. On his way back home, they played as usual. Toby thought of telling his friend about what happened to him previously, but he was too scared as Uncle Dele had warned him not to talk to anyone. Days went by and Uncle Dele's behavior got worse. Even when Toby stopped going to his room to play with his toys, he would target when Toby's parents had gone to the market and go in and fetch Toby to his room. He would lock the door and touch him inappropriately. Toby would cry and beg him to let him go. Toby tried to voice out to his parents, but he felt trapped by fear and confusion. He didn't understand why Uncle Dele was doing these things, but he knew they were wrong. One evening, Uncle Dele tried to pat Toby on the back during supper. Toby flinched and spilled his bowl of soup. "Toby!" Mama Toby exclaimed. "What is wrong?" Tears welled up in Toby's eyes. He looked at his parents and Uncle Dele. He ran out tearfully. Over the next few weeks, Toby's behavior had changed. He stopped playing with his friends in the village square and avoided sitting by the fireside with his parents. He became quiet and withdrawn. Even his dog felt this coldness. They no longer go hunting. He became a shadow of himself. Mama Toby was preparing to head for the market with her wares when Toby cried out from the hut, insisting to follow her to the market. She tried to persuade him to stay back at home because the market is no place for children. But all her pleas fell on deaf ears. She had no choice but to take him along with her. In the market, she sat him down and asked him what was wrong with him, as he had never behaved like this before. She also told him she had noticed the change of his behavior. Toby, my son, what is wrong? Why are you so quiet these days? I'm fine, Mama, Toby replied, staring at the ground. He looked terrified. Even the villagers noticed. They kept on asking if all was well with Toby, as he was usually more cheerful than that. As soon as she got home that night, she spoke to her husband about it, and he also confirmed that he had noticed the change in their son's behavior. They were both worried. The episodes from Uncle Dele continued, and Toby got more terrified as the day went, as Uncle Dele had resorted to threatening to deal with him if he ever voiced out. One night, a loud cry from Toby's room woke everyone up. Mama Toby and Papa Toby rushed to his mat, finding him trembling and drenched in sweat. Toby, what's this? Papa Toby asked, his voice thick with worry. I had a bad dream, Toby stammered, tears streaming down his face. Toby held him close, but she knew this was more than a nightmare. Toby, you can tell us anything, she whispered. You are safe. Toby wanted to speak, but fear held him back. He was terrified of his uncle. He also didn't want to disappoint his parents or bring shame to the family. At this point, his parents knew they needed to take a drastic action to find out what had gone wrong with their child. They agreed to take him to see Baba Agba, the village priest. The next morning, Mama Toby bagged her son and they headed straight to Baba Agba's hut. On reaching there, Baba Agba keenly listened to them and prepared some concoction and gave to Toby to drink. He asked them to leave, that the truth will reveal itself. They thanked him and left. On their way home, Toby tripped on a pile of mud and fell down. His body was covered with dirt and his clothes were ruined. His mom located a nearby stream and took him there to wash him up. While he was having his bath in the stream, she noticed an unusual swell in his private area. She took a closer look and screamed at Baba Toby to come and see what she had saw. Toby, what is this? She asked, pointing to a swelling in his private area. Toby bursted in tears and tearfully recounted all he had been through in the hands of Uncle Dele. Their hearts pounded as they listened to Toby's audio. His parents were heartbroken. They were thrown into different emotions: anger, sadness, worry, and disappointment. Mama Toby started wailing and calling on the villagers to come to her rescue. In no time, a number of people had gathered. Together, they stormed their compound and fetched Uncle Dele. Uncle Dele tried to deny it, but there were surplus proof and evidence against him. He also tried to beg for forgiveness, but the angry villagers attacked him and beat him to a pulp. Pepe attacked him as well and beat him severely, before the village chief sent and banished him out of the village. With Uncle Dele gone, Toby slowly began to heal. The villagers rallied around him, offering him words of encouragement and love. Toby started playing with his friends again, and his bubbly self slowly returned. The story teaches us that incidents like this can happen to both genders, both boy child and girl child. We should be observant of our children and protect them at all costs. No one should be trusted around our children, family, relative, or not. Especially during festive season and holidays when there are new faces around. Mama Toby and Papa Toby decided to share their story during a village meeting. Our children are precious, Mama Toby said. We must protect them and teach them to speak up whenever anything is wrong with them. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please like my video so YouTube can show it to more people to watch. Also, kindly subscribe to watch more interesting stories from me. Thank you.